for all things Halloween. This is Hauntformer, and everyone, today we are taking a journey into the abyss. And by abyss, I mean the FrightProps 2020 catalog, and by journey, I mean I'm gonna look at it and you can watch with me, I guess. So, like I said, today we're gonna look at the FrightProps catalog for their 2020 season. If you haven't heard of FrightProps before, essentially they are a company that specializes in haunt industry, animatronic, pneumatic equipment, as well as decorations and props for Halloween consumers. So they have a wide variety of items, so much so that I can't cover every little thing in this video. I'm gonna have to gloss over a lot because this is like a big catalog. I'm going to put a link in the description if you want to check it out for yourself, look at their website, and also you can get a free physical copy of the catalog, like me. Mine's coming in the mail soon, so you can dive into all of this good stuff for free and find the best stuff for you. So, we're going to take a look at the catalog right now. Really cool artwork, may I say, right off the bat. I really like the artwork of the catalog. They have a nice introduction with the comic look. They also have merch, so if you want to get your FrightProps merch on, that'd be pretty sweet. And you can get gift cards and stuff too for those freaky people in your life. And they accept MasterCard, PayPal, all that good stuff. They have a lot of new items too, so I'm not going to go into these specifically yet. I'm going to wait till I get to the page further down, then we'll talk about all of this stuff. So, up first we have air blasters, and air blasters are essentially those things when you go into a haunted house and it shoots air at you really fast. It works by plugging it into an air compressor. It's a pneumatic, and it works really well. So as you can see, the top thing here is the ankle blaster. They also have the rapid fire, the simple air blast, which is $91. The pop blaster, and then they have little whips and stuff, and the air shoots through those little hoses so fast that it makes it feel like it's like a rat tail or something. I've seen those used before, and they are pretty freaky. And you also have your noisemakers, and there's a lot of different noisemakers out there. Train Blaster, Psycho Blaster, Doom Cannon. They have great names, by the way. The Clown Blaster. Some of these actually make noise along with shooting out air, which is cool too. The Horny Honker, Nasty Blaster, and the Super Siren, which is actually a new item and relatively cheap for a lot of these sound makers. You also have the Pounders and Shakers. So these essentially you put them against a wall or a door and or the floor, and it bangs, kind of like when you go into Disney's Haunted Mansion and the doors kind of are banging from the other side. That's kind of the effect you're going to get here. You also have the pneumatic vibrator if you want like a prop to shake. Again, another wall pounder. You also have the pots and pans poltergeist. I've seen this used in many haunted houses, or the poltergeist pot. And you also have the hand coming out of the pot with, it looks like you can attach it to a fog machine, which is kind of cool. Your prop mechs, your heavy duties, you have your scissor mech down here, you have little prop attachment ones. That one's actually pretty cool. This is new, and I really like that. So, you set a prop on it, and it kind of leaps forward, so I could see that being used in a lot of different circumstances. And that's a pretty fair price, too, 50 bucks. That's pretty neat. I like that one quite a bit. You also have your Axe-worthy ghost kit. That's if you want a ghost to kind of fly back and forth on a rig. Here you have your electric props, your exploding fuse, your giant fuse, your live wires. They're going to run you a pretty penny, some of these items, but depending on how professional your haunt is, you can probably afford it. Your chainsaw, your Fright saw, which looks like a real chainsaw, but it's, not going to obviously chop someone's limbs off, unless you're going for that, which I don't recommend. You're probably going to be sued, but, float your boat. You have your spark fence, which works really well. A lot of haunts really love this at the entrance. You set the fence up, you run the little wand against it and it sparks. They also have chainsaw ones. You have your water sprayers and your misters. This is something I've really been interested in, the zombie spit mister, where it feels like something just spit on you, which is extremely gross and all the more awesome. Your water sprayers, you can change the color with your LED light here for $14.99. Your electric spray system, lots of crazy stuff. Here on page 18, you have your E-crackers. Kind of the highlighted one is the flash cracker, to me anyways, or you can get the plate. But the flash cracker, it shoots a little electric spark out of the top and is really loud. It's that like da-da-da-da-da, kind of sounds like a taser. Those are really cool. It sounds like a machine gun too, as they put here in the description. You have your wireless adapter for it, and you also have your AC mobile pack, which is really cool because you can wear that pouch on you and walk around your haunt with your electric cracker, or in theory, probably more stuff if you wanted, and that's nice. I like that. You gotta be cautious with the E-crackers. They don't last forever, as it's noted here in the catalog. It's a novelty product, so use it with caution. On page 20, you have your talking skulls, and what's neat is they've added, like, a lot of new characters, like the rabbit, you have, like, the, you know, Five Nights at Freddy's-esh bear, you have these creatures, you have a bunch of different ones. These are silicone ones, very cool, and they have a lot of, like, kits for it. If you want to make your own, make it say custom phrases, you can do that. You can add LED eyes into it, and I'm assuming you can add those eyes into anything, so you know, like your Costco pose and stay skeleton, you could add it into that too. Your rocking mechanism, or that's the rocking talking skeleton. You also have a lot of stretch wall materials. These are cool, because I've seen these used a lot, especially like the portraits, so you could have, in theory, a scare actor behind it, kind of pushing it out. If you remember from the original Nightmare on Elm Street, when Freddy pushes against the wall, you have that kind of effect going in your haunt. Here you have your video props. This is cool, a Fright cam, your ghost bust, and the moving portraits. Here's just some classic stuff, the barrels, the creature crate, the cannon. All these are a pretty penny, especially for the more amateur people out there like myself, so shop with caution. I really like the squishy bridge too, and the flooring. That's really neat. And that's a 5-planker right there. And the floor tiles and everything like that. Here's the more budget stuff for you guys looking for the cheaper things. These are the Morris Costumes animatronics. I've covered a lot of these in the past before. But, you know, you got the crate clowns, you got the carousel, the crouching clowns, and a lot of other monsters here that you can choose from. Some really cool ones, too. You also have more animated props. These guys are from the Pumpkin Pulp shop. They kind of look like a clock, you know, with the hand ticking. And your FrightTronics, they have a lot of distortion stuff, so you can see a lot of those items on display in this catalog, which is nice. And a few new items too, like the Demon Rising and your Billy Bite, which is a new puppet. I've done a video on this guy right here, the head, but now you can buy a full-bodied puppet and actually talk through that, which is nice. Your DIY kits, the lid opener and the hopping drum. These aren't too crazy expensive. If you have an air compressor, I'm sure it works pretty easily with that. I have my own air compressor, and I'm thinking of doing one of these kit kind of tutorial videos soon, so we'll see how that goes. Even more, the banging mirror, the creature crate, the living dead coffin kit, the door opener, and I'm sure the more complex you want your kit to be, and what you want the effect to look like, the more it's going to cost you. But for something simple, it wouldn't probably cost more than a few $100s, just like a traditional Halloween decoration. On page 36, now we're jumping into prop controllers. This is the Peekaboo, the very famous prop controller. So essentially what this does is you have your controller, you have an input, which is, I don't know, like a sensor or a button. And then the output is what you want the effect to be, whether it's to move a pneumatic cylinder back and forth, whether you want a sound to play, whatever the case may be, a light maybe to light up. You have an input and an output, and the Peekaboo is kind of in the center of all that. There's a lot of different types. The traditional Peekaboo 1 is only 50 bucks. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it's very basic, and it will get the job done. And of course, as you go up in price, you see the complexity of what these controllers can do will definitely raise for you. You have the MP3 ones where we'll actually play a sound along with the motion. So these are really nice because you can really customize your decorations, and I'm thinking of ordering a Peekaboo soon to give it a whirl. But these are really sweet. Like I said, they go up in price the more complex you want them to get. And you also have your Boo box here too, which allows for a big array of sounds and animations to be used at will. And you also have on page 44, if you're an escape room designer, you can get your controllers here as well, with the Escape Keeper, which is interesting. And your servo controllers. So there's a whole lot here. Like I said, I'm just scratching the surface. Depending on your own haunt needs, you can really look into this with a deeper look. But I'm just going over the basics. When we scroll down, you can get some free software too, which is pretty nice. You have the Scaremaster. Here's just a Peekaboo starter kit, which will get you a motion sensor, a speaker, an audio cable, the power supply, and the Peekaboo for $150. That's not bad at all. You're getting all the stuff you need to start out, which is really good. Just minus, of course, if you want like an air compressed and like a cylinder to work. Obviously, that'll be something different. Here you have basically what I was talking about with the pneumatics involved as well. So you can really get a great starter kit here at FrightProps, which is nice. Here you have your triggers. These are the inputs. Motion sensor, the timer, beam sensor, vehicle motion detector. That's a different one. I have not seen that one before. That is cool. And your step pad, which is, you step on it and it activates it. You've seen this at, if you've been to Spirit Halloween or anything like that. Foot switches. And sometimes they have even buttons for like actors to press if you're in a haunted house. Your wireless triggers too. These are nice. Just scrolling down here. You got your timers, your wires, power supplies, kind of the more technical, maybe more boring if you're into more of the, let me see a zombie type thing, but this stuff's important for sure. Here you have your motors. This is a dual speed, high torque motor. I have one very similar to this. You can also get your deer motor. It's called a deer motor because it's the motor used for a Christmas, deer where the head moves back and forth and it lights up. That's about the strength and the speed you're going to get with that motor. You can also get a vibrating shaker motor, which is cool. So say you have a static prop and you want it to shake rapidly, you can do something like that for 30 bucks. You have your brackets, mounting stuff, depending on where you're going to put your motor. All is important. A servo is very similar to a motor. I believe the difference is a motor goes 360 and a servo usually just goes back and forth. I think it's usually 180 degrees, but I'm sure it varies on the servo. Here you have a lot more servo kits, so you can really attach them well if you're making your own monster, which is cool. Very cool. More motor mechs. Lots of motor mechs. You have your swinger mech. So if this is you want a monster to kind of swing or something like that. Your sit-up, your rocker, your head lifter. So each individual mech will give you a different outcome. So if you want a monster to sit up, if you want a monster to turn back and forth, you can find basically everything here in this catalog. And these prices are actually pretty good from what I've seen in the industry. Now, if you're someone like me, a little more amateur, not quite into, you know, the wider aspects of the haunt industry, you might want to start somewhere here with a motor kit, a PVC animatronic kit. These will cost you anywhere from maybe like $100 to $200, but you can get a really good, simple starter kit here with the pieces and the accessories you need to make your own animatronic, which is really nice. And I've done some basic motor stuff on my channel, so you can check it out if you want to see that. You have your actuators. Let's go down here. You know, more linear actuators, kind of your simple thing. You can have it push out, push up, however you want to do that. Works well. Now we're getting into lighting. You have dark light here, and you have Gandam, which is more precision lighting. Some of these, I believe, use apps too. For example, Color Piano here uses an app on your smartphone where you can just change colors mobily, which is pretty cool. And these are all different colored spotlights. Even more precision lighting. You have your lighting controllers, which I believe you can also do with Peekaboo, but this is just another option if you're looking for something different. You have your flicker lighting, a micro flicker. Like I said, lots of stuff in this catalog, folks. Lots of stuff. Your Peekaboo Storm Kit, you can get ones with speakers and lights. This is like the ultimate storm. If you want like a really good storm kit, this is something you would invest in really well. You can find cheaper ones too. For example, Perfect Storm, I know, is one that a lot of more amateur haunters use to get the same sort of effect. You plug your lights in, you plug a speaker in, and it, you know, will flash the lights and make the sounds like you're in the middle of a thunderstorm. Very cool effect. Works really well from what I've seen. Even more lightning stuff. You have your strobe lights, lots of different LEDs, which is very cool. A flash rope, which I have not seen before. That is cool, too. You have your adapters. You have your black lights. They have these new airbrush UV paints, which is new and cool. I have not seen those before, but I'm sure you airbrushers would probably get a kick out of that. And you have your ultra UV paint, which is on sale. If you've ever been to like a laser tag place, or maybe your bowling alley has it where it's like the really fluorescent glowing paint, this is probably what they use. I've seen a lot of this stuff, the Viper and all these different colors. Laser Swamp, which is really cool too. You can get individual lasers for that. Special lighting. You have your Fright light, which is actually a really novel concept. You put it around your neck and it flashes up on the mask or on your face or whatever the case may be. Adds a little jump scare too. That's a sweet item. Might have to pick that up eventually. We'll see. We'll see. You have your Zombie Moon and the fluorescent flicker lights. You have your themed lighting fixtures too. There's just so many of these. Here you have your fog fluid. A lot of this stuff is from Froggies, which is kind of like the industry standard, I guess. You have your swamp juice, your freeze juice. These will all do different things, but you might need a different fogger. For example, a low-lying fogger will cool the fog because hot air rises, cold air will sink down to the ground. So you're going to need a cold fogger for something low-lying. If you don't care and the fog just goes anywhere, it'll just be your basic fogger. You can get those from Spirit Halloween. But they do have some really nice foggers from Froggies if you want to put the money in. Scrolling down, see the ground foggers are here. The chill fogger. Here are your scents and smells. Kind of an overlooked thing, but I think scents are very important for capturing the mood of something. There's so many different scents online. You can find just a wide variety. Everything from cotton candy and popcorn to mold and dead body smell. I mean, it really gets in depth with all these smells. You can just see a few of them here. Cinnamon, coffee, gun smoke, gasoline, pumpkin spice. So you can pick if you want it to smell really good, really nasty, maybe a blend of both. You can be creative with it depending on your scene. Chocolate chip cookie, kind of making me hungry. You know, maybe skunk, maybe I lose the appetite for a little bit. Maybe. Yes, maybe. Here you have your skulls and skeletons. There's the decayed pose and stay. I've made videos talking about how to corpse things, so you can use that to your advantage. Signs, and, well, those are actually pretty cool. The barrels, I like that. I love me that stuff, the fallout and the radioactive stuff. Here you have your webcaster guns and your fog, your cobwebs. It looks kind of like a glue gun. You have to, of course, connect it to an air compressor, but you put in the glue stick, which is really a web stick, and you can shoot realistic webs across your scene. And it has a really neat effect from the examples I've seen online. Here you have your dolls and your dummies. These are the Forevermores, also from Pumpkin Pulp, but if you want something just simple to put a costume on, you can go with these life-size dummies. You also have a lot of haunt materials here, too. Fire retardant, very important for safety purposes. Obviously, if you're running a business, you're going to want safety to be your top priority. Here's your hardware here. And more lights. These are all really cool, but I don't have time to go into every little thing. Here you have your videos. And there's so many. People even make custom ones on YouTube, so there's just so many things for the industry now. But they do have a few new ones. The warning signs actually looks pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Video players, too, if you don't have a video player. They even have 4K video players, so you can get really good picture for these things. Video kits, your speakers. Again, I can't go into all of these, but a lot of different speakers and screen boxes. You can also get audio. So just like the smells, they also have a wide variety of audio samplings that you can use for any given scene. You know, laboratory stuff, toxic stuff, insane asylum, evil clowns. List goes on. Here we have some new props. This is exciting for more of you guys that are into the decorating aspects rather than the technical aspects. Both are important. You've got Frankenstein, which is essentially a half zombie baby, half pig. That's gross. A rat dissected, also gross. And, okay, snail mail here is actually genius. This thing is really sick in, like, the best way possible. This thing is crazy creepy. Here you have tentacles. You can use those for a variety of scenes, especially if you're doing something like underwater. That would work really well. And the bigger the tentacles, obviously, the more it's going to cost you. So you have a 5-footer, 12-footer. It gets pretty extensive. Here you have some mutants and specimen jars. Here you have some new stuff from Distortions. They're Nosferatu, which is really nice. They also have a zombie. Here's your PVC body kit. So maybe you don't want an animated character. Maybe you just want a static prop. They have the static kits too. And depending on how complex, again, you know, something less complex to something more complex, something smaller, something bigger, it'll all range in price, but nothing here really goes over $55, so you know you're not getting a terrible deal. Here, you also have buckets, barrels of nasty stuff, even more nasty stuff that you can put on top of your barrels. You have your severed heads, so many heads, more pumpkin stuff, lots of pumpkin decorations. Even more of your Distortions characters. I've talked about a lot of these before. The Bound Corpse here, letter F, is a newbie for 2020, and I really like that character. especially since I have the Ancient Mummy here, so I think it'd really go well with a lot of these other guys that they've made. You also have your aliens and your maggots. I have the Martian here, and I can vouch for the great quality of a lot of these aliens. Here you have these really cool concession stand items, the cotton candy, the popcorn. This stuff is gross. If you like clowns, which you like clowns, this is something to definitely look at. Cannibal Kitchen stuff. Again, if you're going for the really gross out, the gory, this is for you. Here's your masks. These are stretchy masks that you can put over your face. They're very affordable, and they look really creepy and gross. Again, there's just a lot of different masks and items you can choose from in the catalog. Pumpkin Pulp, I've seen these things in person. They're incredible. They're a little more on the expensive side in terms of getting masks for your haunt, but if you want the quality and you want the really cool aesthetic, these are as real as you can get, really. Here's your different paint and haunt sauce. I love the toxic one because I love that neon green slime looking color. Your chum, rust dust, rusty paint. All of this stuff will give you a unique look and aesthetic for the scenes. Something that's new, which is catching my eye, is the radioactive rust. This is cool, especially for you sci-fi fans. I feel like this would work really well in like a radioactive laboratory type of setting. Here you have your anatomy of pneumatics, so if you don't really know the goings-on, you can take a look here and kind of get an understanding for what you're doing, which is cool. So another reason why you could get a physical copy of this catalog to have on you. Here's more pneumatics. These are your valves that'll allow for different inputs and outputs to be used together. Just, again, a lot of the hardware components here. I'm just going to scroll through these. You can, of course, look at the catalog for yourself if you want something specific here. Here's the pricing and stuff like that. Your cylinders, mounting, motion platforms. These are definitely more for more professional industry haunts, but again, you can just see the goings-on of what really you can invest in when you get down to the brass tacks of Halloween. It's really an in-depth industry. Here you have the escape room items, escape room controllers that we kind of looked at earlier in the video. More escape room props. These are really cool because they can allow for different clues to be found in the escape room, like the chess, where something is revealed after you complete the task or activate the prop, for example. A fake phone, that's pretty cool. A computer where you have to enter a password and then something opens, so one thing triggers the next thing. Keyboard, piano. Again, this stuff works great for your escape room. A lot of tech. Lots of tech. And that was it. Was that it? It just kind of ends after the tech index guide. So, another reason why you might want this in person is to see all of the little nuances of building and designing a haunted house, an escape room, an animatronic, what have you. They have things for the amateur haunter, for the professional, and then somewhere in the middle. So if you're like me, this is really intriguing to look at, and I hope you've enjoyed watching and viewing the FrightProps 2020 catalog along with me. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe down below. Thanks for watching, and remember, as always, for all things Halloween, this is Hauntformer.